Hello everyone, Brave Belly here. Today on the channel, we're going to be eating and reviewing and comparing both of these rations. These are the Lithuanian military rations. We have the old school with that authentic Lithuanian ethnic flavors, okay? And then we have the new school one that's made abroad. It's kind of apparently has like a westernized style to it, you know, more catered to NATO, the NATO countries in general, being that Lithuania is a NATO country. We're going to be comparing them, seeing which one is better, et cetera, et cetera. So I hope you guys are excited as I am, and I hope you guys brought your appetite, because you know I did. Without further ado, let's get it on. So just want to show you guys today's knives. Okay, this is my little auto set, all right? This is what I keep in my truck on the go. So first things first, this is the French knife issued for the Army. This is the civilian version. Theirs is khaki in color. I chose the G10 handled red one. And it's a pretty straightforward knife. Okay, not the craziest in price. It's only like 130 bucks. And so yeah, basically it's a quick flip, boom, check it out. Serrations we have, all right. And then we also have the glass breaker in the back. You could change the clip so it could be run on, you know, ambidextrous. All right, it's a pretty cool knife. It has a seatbelt cutter as well. So this is going to be today's knife and today's utensils. I'll talk about that later. But basically also the French Army issued utensil set, which I think is pretty cool. Haven't used it yet, so I'm looking forward to that. All right, so we're going to start off with the new school. This is the old school, sorry. Whatever, bear with me. All doing it in one take. And let's go. Going to crack it open and see if it's any good. Oh, by the way, just overall, first thing first, you know, just a dark green color, looks very military-esque. All right, that's about it. I specifically didn't translate anything because it's a mystery. We're gonna find out what's inside. That's how I usually roll. I'm here to eat, not to read. And let's go, unboxing. All right, and so the only date on here says 2024. So whether that was produced in 2024 or expires in 2024, you guys could let me know in the comments, all my Lithuanian viewers. But what I do know is this ration is like ethnic to the foods of the country. All right, and what I mean by that is typical like Lithuanian style food. So I'm looking forward to it. I love food like that. We got a nice hard plastic. Okay, so we're gonna use this for garbage. So first thing I see is their cracker set. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 big old chunky crackers. And this set I believe is made in Poland. Rusks SU1. Okay, and Piast. Yep, so this is the Piast brand. So yeah, they got these made in Poland. They are their neighbors, so I don't see why not. And let's see what else we have. Okay, so we have a pack of almonds. Very straightforward. Then we have a utensil set. Oh, wow. Looks like actual freaking Bakelite. Take a look at that. That's pretty awesome. Bakelite spoon. Never have I seen this. I think it's pretty cool. You know, very like one of a kind, I would say, compared to other rations, all right? Pretty awesome, I must say. I like to see character in these rations, kind of adds to the experience. All right, so we have their fuel tabs, all right, pretty nice. Not broken, which is always a good plus. We also have one zip tie for the garbage, I'm assuming. This is their book of matches or their box of matches, wooden. I'm assuming, yep, very straightforward. Nothing to say other than, yeah, typical wooden matches. We have some kind of motorsport on it, right? Can't even begin to try to read that, all right? But yeah, just matches, very straightforward. And the Ziploc. I keep calling it a Ziploc. It's a zip tie, sorry guys. Refreshing towelette. So we're gonna see if this towelette is any good. Looks like a Sprite or a 7-Up towelette. Really colorful. Very strong of like a lemon, industrial lemon cleaner. So not the best, kind of old school in smell. They used to make a lot of these. I think usually a lot of countries that made this scent had stopped doing it because it's way too intense and gross. But it is very moist, as you can see. It's actually dripping off. So that's nice. And it is paper, so it's a little on the cheaper side. What else do we have? I guess this is the main, and this is their little tray for food heating. Interesting. Okay, so here it is. The directions are very straightforward. So the long side goes up. Wow, it's not even perforated or anything. It's literally just a sheet, which is, you know, I guess you don't need anything else really. And these are the legs. And it looks like we're set just like that. All right, so very simple. And we will be heating up the food. And I'm gonna use this for, I guess, even though my table's already destroyed. But yeah, it is what it is. Let's see what the main is. So I don't understand how they want me to heat this up. Oh, look, we do have a heating bag. It's probably expired because I've had this in my house for like over a year. So, but this is their flameless ration heater. Let's give it a try. You never know, it could work. So I will be giving a try first with this and see if it's gonna work. This is our food. I have no idea. So I'm starving, that's all I know. And I will eat whatever's inside this. I'm gonna pour super hot water in there. They say not to. Right to the line, perfect. Oh yeah, that's steaming up quick. Always a good sign. And I'm gonna put it back in the sleeve. Just so everything keeps together, nice like a hot pocket. And we're gonna keep going, guys. I don't wanna hold you up too long because we do have 2 entire meals to make. So I'm gonna set this to the side. Hopefully that heats it up enough. So bear with me with all the fumbling. All right. So now this is their little accessories or condiments, something like that. We have what looks like a sugar packet, also in the military green, which is cool. We have a little camouflage chocolate, and it's nice when they have English writing as well. Then we have what looks like their jelly or jam. We have some kind of instructions that I can't read. We have pea soup with breadcrumbs, good old English, baby. So we're gonna make the soup first. And then we have an instant drink with cherry concentrated powder juice. All right. And last but not least, we have what looks like to be their gum in a nice plastic wrapper, okay? And I say that because I just had one of these from the Polish rations and I washed it and dried it and finally found it. Once I opened it, it was perfectly intact. So the plastic goes a long way, believe it or not, especially for rations. And a nice recycled Ziploc bag for garbages, etc., etc. All right, let's get to start eating. The first one in line, which is the old school meal. I'm glad the heating element is actually working. Look at the steam. See that? You give yourself a quick facial if you wanted. Just kidding, just kidding. And where are my plates? All right, let's start trying some of this food. Actually, I did say the soup first, so let's get on the soup. All right, pea soup with breadcrumbs. Very interesting. All right, so it just looks like pure dust. So it's basically like a bouillon. I don't even see any breadcrumbs whatsoever. I'm sure the water is gonna bring all that out for us. And yeah, just like a chicken bouillon, if you will, as far as scent. We've got a dark color with a little bit speckles of green hues. So what looks like to be like just seasoning. All right, just gonna eyeball the water. Just a little bit. I like it when it's, you know, a little bit more dense perhaps. And I'm salivating. This is the first thing, and it's a good starter. It's a good starter just to wet my whistle, if you will. And gonna have that with one of these crackers, but these crackers aren't meant to be eaten with the actual food, in my personal opinion, because they're definitely on the hard side. Take a look at them. These are some of my favorite crackers, toasted very nice on the top, a little less on the bottom. As you can see, the caraway seeds for that beautiful flavor that I love. And first gonna try a little bit of the cracker. Super crunchy, but really nice. Always tastes, to me personally, like a bagel. All right, just obviously more dense, but as far as flavor profile, has like that soft aftertone of just a little bit of sweetness to it, which I actually very much enjoy. All right, soup up close. All right, now this is, being that it's military food, I'm sure soldiers probably just heat it up in a canteen and drink it like a beverage, but since I'm in the house, cheers. Oh yeah, real salty. Like super, super salty. You barely get any of those pea flavors, just a hint of it. More so you get of that like seasoning, whether that's basil or I don't even know, rosemary, just like those Italian herbs. Basically, you get a little hint of that. But yeah, it's like pure salt. I'm sure if I dilute it, it's less intense, but really that's the overwhelming flavor, is like you boiled salt water, okay? The consistency is nice and thick though. But as far as soup is concerned, nothing to write home about, nothing to brag about. You know, it is what it is. Good old cracker though. All right, we're gonna have the cracker with the jelly now. And mind you, I'm not having this in any particular order as a soldier would. I'm just trying to taste everything on the menu. So we're just gonna go through it that way, right? No rules. All right, so this jam or jelly, take a look at it up close, very straightforward. I like the fact that it's not leaking. It hasn't separated really. So that's a nice plus, because it doesn't look like separated and gnarly, even though it's been laying in my house for over a year in the Florida heat. Because I do not baby any rations. I like to keep them just throw them in basically the bottom of my closet. So it is what it is. All right, this is a lot of jelly. Probably should spread it, but whatever. Wow, the experience is nice because of the texture, because it's more like a literal jelly. You get a small little rubbery chew to it, so that's quite nice. I would say this is above average as far as jellies, and the fruit is definitely tart. Okay, more tart than sweet, so it doesn't taste like a cheap dank syrup. It has brightness to it. It's very pleasant. From a 1 to a 10, I'd say the jelly's a 10. It's a real good jelly, okay? Not bad at all. We're gonna see about this beverage because the food is almost ready. All right, the name of the brand is Clean Guy. Got a little picture of cherries. And yeah, there are instructions, but that's for you nerds. I'm just gonna open it up, pour it in, add water, just like a soldier would, all right? Nobody's reading instructions for the powder. Now, first thing is a strong, intense sense of like a dark cherry, which is a really pleasant scent for me. Now, I know in Poland, they like to drink their beverages with warm water. I don't know how it is in Lithuania. So you guys that are watching from Lithuania, let me know if this should have been reconstituted with hot water. All right, let's see. Wow, I really like this Bakelite style spoon. Very one of a kind. Hardcore, like heavy duty plastic. I didn't mention, but it seems like thicker as well. Really nice. Oh yeah, really different. Okay, so it doesn't taste like dark cherry. It tastes like almost like a Jolly Rancher. Okay, like a cherry candy. So wasn't expecting this. Very nice, okay? Not over the top sweet. Less sweet than Western American style beverages, but I would say more sweet than what I expect from Europe in general. So that's nice. I'm enjoying this. And the flavor too, doesn't taste like boiled fruit, okay? This tastes like freaking, almost like those Charms candies or those Jolly Ranchers to a degree. So really, really nice. My style, just the way I like it. All right, let's see about this food. However, we saw it steaming, so we're just gonna eat it the way it is, like a soldier would, because same deal. They're not gonna have the most hot of foods. It's not gonna be perfect. You're meant to eat this in the field, so I have zero idea what this is, guys. Completely. I'm sure, oh, look at that. Came out like a slab of rice and a patty. So it's called stewed pork with pearl barley and mash, or pearl barley mash. So that's really interesting. All right. So we have the stew. All right. Obviously you could see it sloshing around. We have their little pork patty, and we have their pearl barley. Okay, so nice, all together in one. I'm surprised. Usually food like this comes in separate pouches. This one didn't, so that's a first for me, or at least as I recall. We have the pearl barley with carrots and lots of seasoning. The smell is definitely like a stew, so it smells very homemade. So I'm looking forward to that, and I am definitely salivating. So yeah, it smells very stewy and hearty, okay? And then we have the pork. I'm not gonna chop it up too fine. I want to, I guess, experience the integrity of that. Okay, first bite of the pork. Okay. Very meaty, obviously, since an entire slab of pork, but doesn't taste very fatty. It's stewed pork, I guess, so maybe that's why. Very like trimmed of fat or anything. So I guess this is actual patty. So the pork, it's not like a cut of, off the bone cut. Never had a pork patty, I don't think. Very interesting. Flavorful, nice chew, okay? It's not tough at all. Rendered very nice and fine. Yeah, pretty good. What can I say? Has a good flavor. Doesn't taste like chemicals at all whatsoever. Just like a stew, like it's been rendered for hours. But it lacks that gelatinous kind of savoriness. So they definitely trimmed a lot of the fat, a lot of the tendons and stuff, almost like they used pure pork meat. So it's kind of different, Almost resembles beef because it lacks that fat flavor. All right, let's see about this barley now. Oh yeah, really nice. It looks like the freaking barley has carrots and little bits of onions. And I must say, the flavor is different. I would think everything has one all freaking solid flavor, but you taste the distinction of the barley. Really nice. For one meal, this definitely hits the spot. And I'm gonna eat all of it. Now I will have it with a piece of cracker still, but the texture is just too tough compared to this nice stewed food. It doesn't really go together. I feel like these don't go with any foods. But they're nice to enjoy alone, like a snack. So yeah, I might not even have to use this tool. I'll probably just use it on another MRE. But really nice. All in all, I'd say so far so good. Really delicious. Okay, really nice. All right, we got almonds now. Gonna set this plate to the side because I'm gonna try to keep it nice and clean here. All right, let's see about these almonds, but not too much to say about them. They just look like slightly roasted. Just almonds, that's all. Plain Jane almonds. It's still nice though because they don't taste like dead, you know, they don't taste like too dry and dusty at all. So really there's nothing to say about these regular almonds. They're fine. No complaints from me. Now, could you get extra and like dust them with some salt or yes, or some cinnamon and brown sugar? Yes, but for all things, not the worst type of nuts that I've had in my rations, okay? Let's see about this chocolate bar. Now, what would I use this sugar for? They didn't give me any coffee. Maybe to sweeten up the beverage a little more. We're gonna see how it tastes when it's more sweet. I mean, it's gotta be for that, right? No coffee, no tea. Maybe. Yeah, it tastes westernized, so perhaps that's what it's for. Now it tastes like your typical like American like Kool-Aid beverage type. Yeah, it was either good either way. It didn't really need it, but it's nice with the sugar for me, for my palate. Maybe that's for the NATO partners, all right? Now we're gonna have this Rita chocolate. I love the camel. Very interesting. This one has navy blue in it as well. Pretty cool. Like seeing little touches of character like that in my rations. And wow, I'm surprised. Guys, I literally had this in my house for over a year, especially in Florida. Like I said, not a controlled climate in my closet. And honestly, look, not bad at all. Not even blooming. So surprise, surprise. And it honestly looks very presentable. As you can see, like really crispy, like, okay, nice clean molding or mold. The mold used, that's what I mean, okay? Obviously not mold. Okay, so the stamping came out nice and crispy. All right, let's see about the snap. Oh yeah, good snap. Good snappy crunch. And I'm not a fan of dark chocolate, but the crispness of it adds to the experience. Okay, so this is like a nice adult snack at night. Perhaps you guys would prefer to have it melt in your mouth. I just enjoy hearing that crunch. It's something about it is very satisfying. And with some almonds, not bad at all. And the beverage was delicious too. All right. So that looks like we had everything. And that's the old school rations. Let me just finish off this with a gum. Wow, this is actually delicious. I'm gonna finish some of this off. Don't want to waste it. See, that's how I'd eat it. With the actual almonds. Really nice. Pleasantly surprised. Ice mint. All right, nice little graphics. Sugar-free with sweeteners. Wow, this was really nice. Expires June 1st, 2025. So yeah, this expired this month, so this is awesome. Right on time. All right, so check out their gums. We got 2 little toothpaste blue chiclets. Not the most of a crunch. Oh yeah, these are peppermint. Is that what it is? Sugar-free chewing gum with sweeteners, strong mint. That's all it says. Yeah, it's a peppermint. Hence the blue color. Mint is green usually. I mean, is there better gum out there? Yeah, when there's more of a outer shell, a nice crunch. Feels very satisfying. This doesn't have the best crunch, but it is what it is. It expired, maybe that's why. Expired this month, so. From a 1 to a 10, I give this ration, if you're being extra picky, I'll give it a 7. But for me personally, this is a solid 8. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Nothing tasted like chemicals or synthetic or industrial. It was all definitely very palatable. It had my favorite type of crackers, even though they're not meant to be eaten with the food, in my opinion. They're still my favorite flavor. We're gonna move on to this one. All right, so apparently the backstory is the government outsources these to the British company because they look the same as the British rations. I believe that's the case. Now I guess maybe since they're, maybe they're trying to fortify that whole like NATO partnership, more exercises, more military exercises in Lithuania. So maybe kind of like cater to that Western palate. I don't know. We're gonna see if it's any good. I've heard a lot of negative reviews about it, but we're gonna see for ourselves. There's more writing on this. This one actually has English writing, so we know everything that's in here. Lithuanian ration pack, general purpose 14. Contents: pasta and beef with tomato sauce, beef steak bar. Oh, so probably like a beef jerky. Whatever, I'm not gonna read everything, but it's in Lithuanian on one side and in English on the other, and this expires or best before March 2025. So it's expired a few months. It is what it is. Not that serious. We're eating everything anyway. All right, so I'm just gonna lay it all out. Boom. So that's what it's looking like. All right, a little different presentation. We went from green to cream or like a light brown, khaki. All right, and let's go. We have the beef steak bar. All right. I mean, looks very westernized for sure. All right. So this was made in the UK. That's damn right. Produced in the Czech Republic for Vesti Foods UK. So Vesti Foods UK is the brand. I guess they got the contract. So guys, let me know if you're from Lithuania, how you feel about that politically. It's not a political channel. I'm just curious to see, like, what are you guys thinking about it? What's the move? Why they decide? Oh, the cola bottles. Okay, definitely westernized. All right, so I'm excited about giving these a try for dessert. Then we have oat digestive biscuits. So some biscuits, but it almost like freaking powder, damn near. All right, so a lot of busted up stuff in there. We're gonna see how good that is. We have the pasta with beef and tomato sauce in their freaking little sleeve. And it is gusseted. I don't know if that makes any difference or not. All right, let's see. Expires 2027. Ooh. Then we have dry roasted peanuts. And we have a fortified energy drink powder with flavor. Interesting. Doesn't even tell you the flavor. But all of this is, look, Czech Republic. So, interesting. Very interesting. Produced in the UK. Okay, so this is from the UK, the peanuts. So yeah, they're just outsourcing. Guys, we have absolutely no heating element. Surprise, surprise, all right? Trying to save some money. So I don't know how we were expected to heat this up. I don't know if you guys are issued like a cooking stove. Let me know in the comments if you are. Yeah. Oh, look at this freaking spork we got. And it's also heavy duty. All right, very solid and thick. I do think this one, For me personally, it just seems a little cooler just because of the material used, but this one is huge in comparison. So I like this shape, but I like this material, at least aesthetically. I know, I'm weird. That's why I have a channel, baby. All right, we do have a coffee in the new one. All right, little bonus. A little baby salt with the salt shaker icon, I guess. Alcohol-free antibacterial wipe. I'm gonna use that right now. We have their gums. This one is mint as opposed to the peppermint. White sugar and white sugar. So 2 white sugar. Okay, so yeah, we could use this, you know, to put some of the stuff away for later or to throw out our garbage. All right, let's see about this napkin. All right, first off, it's bigger. And second of all, look at that. It's a material, so it's higher quality, doesn't rip. And it's one of the biggest ones I've actually ever seen, so I do like that too for my big old hands. Oh, this is definitely nicer. Also, the smell is better because it's unscented, okay? So that's more pleasant. You could get your mouth ready, you know, you don't smell like that fake lemon, so that's always nice. Guys, how do I heat this up? I do have my stove here, and I do have a pot, so we're gonna have to heat it up the old school way. Thankfully, I have my lighter, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. So let me grab my lighter and get this food cooking while we try everything else, because, you know, trying to expedite everything. Ooh, we have fire, baby. Turn that down just a tad. Oops. All right, let's see about this pasta. So surprised that I didn't get a heating element. Had I known, I would have put them both into that one sleeve, but it is what it is. We know for the future. All right, first smell I get is a smell that I don't love at all, and it does smell Western and westernized. And what I mean by that, this smells like Chef Boyardee. Okay, so it tastes like that. It smells like tomato sauce from a industrial made can. You know what I mean? Like that synthetic, nothing like you would have in a cafeteria or at home, or at least none of the cafeterias that I've eaten from. But yeah, Chef Boyardee in smell, which I'm not the hugest fan of. All right, and that's how it looks all out. All right, almost kind of just like freaking macaroni and chunky tomato sauce. That's what it's looking like. Obviously, there's beef in there, but we'll see. All right, what else can we start working on while that's heating up? We have cold bottles. This we'll save for later. All right, let's see about these oats. Guys, we have no jelly, nothing. So let's mix one of these beverages. All right, this is their fortified energy drink powder with flavor. So random that it doesn't tell you the flavor. Interesting. Look at that. Oh, it's like a tamarind. That's what it smells like. Okay, it has like that kind of tarty, like a tart brown sugar smell. You know what I mean? We don't want this to burn, so stir that bad boy up a little bit. All right, yeah, definitely looks like a can of Chef Boyardee or those type of foods that I was never a fan of, but still cold. All right, so we have that beverage in there, what smells like the tamarind. I hope it's tart and sweet like tamarind is. Oh yeah, it's a substantial portion in here. Usually the soldiers just pour this into their canteen, but I would avoid doing that because I don't want everything I drink to taste like whatever powder I threw in. All right. Yeah, this is nice. Okay, really sweet. A little bit tart, not too much. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this is like powdered iced tea almost. I don't know, because it's not that tart, so it could be like one of those lemon kind of tea flavors. Sorry guys, but I have no idea what flavor that is. But yeah, sorry if I broke your heart about that one. All right, let's, what else is there to open next? Oh, I got this freaking black coffee. All right, I know this coffee's gonna suck, but I've been wrong before, so let's find out for real. It just looks like a hotel, like cheap coffee. But I do like my coffee instant, just like this is, so might not be the worst. It looks like freeze-dried coffee, so chunky little granules. Not gonna pour too much. And since they gave us 2 packs of sugar, we'll do 1 pack of sugar. All right, because I don't drink my coffee sweet. I just also don't drink it black. And yeah, it's gonna be too intense. Let's see the coffee. Oh yeah, bitter, so hella bitter that I do not enjoy my coffee like that. So I might have to do 2 packs of sugar if, yeah. Oh yeah, so it's so strong and bitter, in my opinion, not delicious at all whatsoever. Kind of makes it taste cheap, but if you like dark coffee, you might enjoy that. I don't know. And this is about ready, so I'm taking it off. Doesn't have to be perfect, but take a look at that. Seems ready to me. Right? I mean, we're here to eat, not to cook. And so that's what it's looking like. Now, I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm sure you could gather from the presentation, this is just a single meal, right? This is not a 24-hour meal, obviously. So 2 single meals I'm eating back to back, which is not a lot for a guy my size and my appetite, but this is what it's looking like. I don't like food like this, you know, the presentation is just like a slop, okay? Like they just threw a bunch of ingredients in a big old pot and then slapped it on your tray. That's the vibe I get. So yeah, smells like Chef Boyardee. Okay, but visually it is not the worst also as far as the contrast, because it looks like they have onions and obviously the ground beef and maybe like little pieces of, you know, peppers. And so visually it's not the worst thing. All right, but we're just gonna go straight into it and give it a taste. Let's give it some salt. Usually brings the flavor out. And they gave us a whole packet, but I'm not using the whole packet. All right. So far what I'm getting it is that Chef Boyardee tomato. Yeah, definitely a complete slop. Honestly, not the worst. I'm surprised this batch comes with no crackers. So that's definitely different. But it's not as bad as I expected it to be. The flavor is kind of like, it's less synthetic than American MREs that look like this. Way less synthetic, all right? So if the American ones are like the top synthetic tasting, and that's like a 10 on intensity of the synthetic kind of like industrial flavor, this is like a 7 on that scale, you know? Overall, in general, not the worst. I would definitely prefer this over a United States ration that has a similar, you know, meal, similar content. Definitely tastes less synthetic, in my personal opinion. So yeah, not the worst. So not as synthetic as Chef Boyardee, but very close to it. Okay, so more like a cheap cafeteria. This is like kind of like prison food like level, I would say. if I was gonna guess, okay? Yeah, so definitely not the worst. Not as bad as I was thinking it's gonna be. The smell, I guess, was off-putting because it had that canned smell, but actually not the worst. I would say I appreciate the first one, the OG one, a little bit more, just because it tastes like, it doesn't taste industrial. It tastes more like a stew, like a homemade stew almost. Whereas that, you know, tastes like freaking industry. And this, I'm still not sure if it's supposed to be like a iced tea, like a lemon iced tea, or a tamarind. I'd like to think it's tamarind. It'd be like a little more exciting, but all right, it is what it is. Let's move on. Let me get another fresh plate. And so yeah, from a 1 to a 10, I'd give that a 6, right? That's what it is. Let's see about these oat biscuits. I don't know. I got sauce on this plate, but whatever. Oh, this probably goes good with the coffee, just the way it looks and presents, okay? Looks like graham crackers or something. Smells not like much, like dusty, almost like a cardboard. So these are definitely like oat biscuits. Apparently it's good for digestion. But something about them is very pleasant, all right? When you actually chew them, that flavor in your mouth, that stays, is very subtle, but like hearty. Something about it's like very hearty. Not sweet at all, not salty at all, but maybe a pinch of both. So you don't really, none of those flavors like stick out, but just like this weedy goodness, I would say. Very hard to describe, you know, chews up dusty, you know what I mean? So I bet you if you crack it, it's like you see like a lot of speckles of dust everywhere. But all in all, really nice experience. So I don't know if people are mad about having these rations in Lithuania made abroad, if they're mad because, you know, they're basically losing out on jobs in Lithuania. So that's a big deal, you know? Or is it the taste, or both? You know, but I would say the taste, it's not really like a lot worse at all. You know, it's very comparable. So if the last one I gave like an 8 or a 7.5 or an 8, this one's like a half a point behind. Because these crackers are nice, you know? The other ones, I love these, but these taste more of like, more pleasant, like something you have at night. At night, it reminds me like a British cookie that you could have with tea or coffee. Whereas this is just like hardcore. The flavor is nice, but you better have healthy teeth. Oh yeah, actually, with the 2 packets of sugar and the freaking biscuit, not bad at all. And it's definitely drying up my throat. You see, it's almost like a sandy texture, but the flavor is definitely nice. It has like this grown-up taste. But still very pleasant. And see, the difference between these and these, I would definitely refer to this as more of a biscuit and this more of a cracker, in my personal opinion. But maybe you guys in Europe call these biscuits as well. Could be. But, oh yeah. They're both equally good, but they're very different. They're hard to compare. As far as enjoying with the coffee, definitely these are hitting more. So these pair well. Like I said, I'll throw this in my pocket and munch on it throughout the day. Wow, surprise, surprise. I didn't know I was gonna like it. All right, we have the meat stick, the Coca-Cola bottles, and the dry peanuts. Let's see about these dry peanuts. So we had almonds before. These are the peanuts. Automatically, I feel like almonds are way cooler. But yeah, let's see about these peanuts. So yeah, these are slightly saltier than the almonds are. But they taste a little older for some reason. Yeah, almost has like a slightly bitter aftertaste. And it looks like these were seasoned with more than just salt. Take a look at that. Yeah, I almost taste like some kind of seasoning, like a bouillon or something. You see that? I don't know exactly what it is. Let's see. Hard to read. There's so many languages. French, Danish, Swedish, Ukrainian, everything. So yeah, we'll never know. I would almost say these are tied with the almond just because there's more depth to it because they're seasoning. That salt brings out flavor. Not only the salt, but whatever they use. That's nice, all right? So normally I don't like peanuts, but these are hitting. All right, let's see about this beef stick bar, right? In America, we just call this jerky, beef jerky. All right, so this looks like it was made on a machine that just, has a die and just slices through. All right, so very industrial looking up close. All right, doesn't look terrible. Let's see about that taste. You know what? Not the worst. I've had worse. The good thing about it is it actually has chew to it, so you are kind of like biting your stick, have something to bite into and chew on. That adds to the experience. So yeah, that's cool, but definitely industrial. Flavor is not intense whatsoever. I would say this is on par, maybe slightly better than the beef jerky and the American rations, which is not saying much, okay? So, not the best, not the worst. All right, this is the last of it. This one's called Cold Fresh Extra Mint. Oh no, we have the Coca-Cola bottles. Almost forgot. I never liked these. I'm like the only person on the planet that never liked these. I didn't grow up liking Coca-Cola. We like never had it in my house actually because I was a little fat boy. So my parents did not allow Coca-Cola. But anyway, apparently these are like the fizzy cola because they come with the sugar on the outside. I don't know if that's sugar or sour. Let's find out. Not the prettiest, not the most appealing. They do look a little bootleg, but whatever. Yeah. These definitely taste like cola candy from like those budget stores, like Dollar General or something. Very cheap tasting. It's nice. It's a nice touch, but nothing to write home about it. There's nothing like special about it. This one straight up looks like a dong. Look at that. Big old dong. But yeah. I mean, okay, yeah. So it's better to have something like this than not. It boosts morale in my personal opinion. Like something to keep in your pocket for later. So yeah, Better there than not, but also not the highest quality. Let's see about this gum. Oh yeah, it looks like the same old gum, baby. You saw, I don't know if you saw, but if you heard, perhaps the crunch. Okay, so this tastes fresher, but almost the same in flavor. Oh yeah, very pepperminty, really strong, stronger than the previous one, and better crunch. So I would give one up for this gum. Guys, all in all, in my personal opinion, I would say it's kind of tied, if I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, the OG one tastes a little more ethnic and it's delicious. But you got a lot of cool variety. You know, you have like the better, I would say, experience with pairing the coffee and the biscuits, whereas the previous one didn't even have a coffee. You have these Coca-Cola. It's not the best, but at least it's, you know, more candy as opposed to just like a bar of dark chocolate. So also I get a sense that this food, okay, is more for like the younger user, all right? So guys in their 20s, you know, little Coca-Cola bottles. I could picture guys that like watch anime, play video games. Whereas this was more for old school soldier, you know, guys that grew up in the 90s, kind of like me, where we just are used to like foods our fathers used to eat, you know, or dark chocolate, you know, compared to something like this, which is super Western. So I see the differences. I would definitely say, in my personal opinion, it's a tie. And guys, if you stayed around this long, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you very much. I also have an Instagram channel that I'm kind of somewhat active on. So find me on Instagram, Brave Belly USA. Feel free to follow me. And yeah, guys, till next time, signing off.